Hello everyone, I Assistant Professor Pragati Shetty from Department of Microbiology, KG Somaiya College. In the last online lecture, we saw the HIV virus and we saw the several properties for the HIV virus. In that lecture, we saw the virus structure, the genomic structure of that virus, right? Then the classification based on family, subfamily and the genus and the species. Then we saw the pathogenicity of this virus and the pathogenesis of the virus. After that, we saw what are the symptoms of this HIV infection. So, in the HIV infection symptoms, we have four divided groups, namely group 1, which is the acute HIV infection, group 2, asymptomatic or the latent infection, right? Latent infection. Then group 3 is the persistent generalized lymphadenopathy, and the group 4 is the AIDS related complex or the ARC, right? We saw the symptoms for these four groups in the HIV infection. Then we saw the symptoms for the various infections that can be accompanied along with the HIV infection in the persons, okay, in the host. So that infection can be the pulmonary diseases, then gastrointestinal infections, neurological infections, diseases, and the tumors. Okay. Then in this online lecture, we will see what are the laboratory diagnosis of this virus. That means how we check or how we can determine or identify the presence or absence of this virus in the blood sample, in the test sample of the person. Okay. Now we saw the symptoms. Okay, after screening of the symptom, the person will be tested for the laboratory diagnosis, and with the laboratory diagnosis, the infection is present or not, that is the virus is present or not in the person's body, is can be determined. So in the laboratory diagnosis of the HIV can be determined using the ELISA test, which is the very important and very efficient rapid detection method of the diseases, right? ELISA is the enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Okay, in the ELISA test, we have the antibodies, and on that our antigen will bind. Then the second pair of the antibodies with that will be attached with the color changing enzyme. Okay, so this complex, if the complex is positive, if the antigen binds to that antibodies, known antibodies, then the color change will observe, and depending upon that color change, the result can be concluded as the positive or the negative. Okay, now it can be used to identify the surface marker or the metabolites associated with the particular diseases, right? The ELISA test, the ELISA method is used for various infection and various diseases. This can be used for the tuberculosis also, and many more diseases the ELISA is preferable. Now the different variations of the ELISA test, such as the sandwich ELISA, then direct ELISA, which is the most common. The basic method is the direct ELISA. Then we are having the indirect ELISA, sandwich ELISA. Okay, then the detection of the HIV virus it can be done using the sandwich ELISA method. Okay, so how this method work, that we will see. Now in this method, the sandwich method of the ELISA, that is used for laboratory diagnosis for this virus, HIV virus. Now what is happening in this test? In the test, we are having our ELISA wells. Okay, we are having the 96 well plate. So in that wells, we will be incorporate our monoclonal known antibodies. Okay, we will be having with us the known monoclonal antibody incorporated ELISA plate. On that plate we will be inoculating our sample, the test sample. Okay, that can be the blood sample. Okay, so if in the patient's blood the antigens are present, the proteins are present, then that antigen will bind to that antibodies. Okay, that antibodies, then once the antigen antibody complex will be formed, you can see in that picture there is the capture antibody which is incorporated on the wells. Okay, this is the primary antibody, the capture antibody. Why it is called as the capture? Because it will capture our antigen. Okay, that's why it is called as the capture antibody. Then once the antigen, that is the target antigen, is present, then it will bind to that antibodies. Now the plates are washed. Why the plates are washed? To remove any unbound antigen. Okay, unwanted antigen it will remove with the washing step. Now we will be having with us the antigen antibody complex. Okay, now a second set of the monoclonal antibodies called as the secondary antibodies. Okay, these antibodies are linked with the color changing enzymes. Okay, now these antibodies along with the color changing enzyme are attached on it. These are incorporated, these are mixed on the added to our sample, to our antigen antibody complex. Now this detection antibodies will bind to the any antigen captures, right? Antibody will bind to the antigen only. Okay, so now our primary antibody, that is capture antibody, is captured our antigen already, right? Now we are adding the secondary antibodies, and that antibodies are having with them a color changing enzyme. So if the antigen antibody complex will happen between them, the color will be changed. Okay, so that's why the method is called as the sandwich ELISA. You can see in that picture the arrangement is more like the sandwich. Okay, the two layers of antibody and in between the antigen is there. So therefore the name is called as the sandwich ELISA method, and which is very common method used for detection the diseases and the HIV virus. Okay, now the detection antibody, that is our secondary antibody, will bind to the antigen. Okay, now the color will change. The wells are then washed again to remove the unbound secondary antibodies. Okay, now we will having with us the primary antigen antibody complex along with the bound secondary antibodies, in which we are having the enzyme, the color changing enzyme. Okay, when an appropriate substrate is added to the well, the enzyme linked detection antibodies will trigger the color change, right? Which means the enzyme, then you can see that picture, the enzyme led detection antibody will bind to that antigen antibody complex, right? After that the enzyme will convert that substrate into the product, which is the product, the color change, and with the help of this color change we can check the presence, we can confirm the presence of the antigen in the patient sample. Okay, now this is the ELISA test, which is the very important method to determine the HIV disease, HIV infection in the person. Okay, now along with the ELISA we can use several other types of the test also, such as the PCR polymerase chain reaction, right? We can use the Western blotting, which is primary for the proteins, right? Western blotting is used for protein analysis, protein detection, right? Then we can use nucleic acid testing called as the NAT. Okay, nucleic acid testing. In that the nucleic acid of that genome of the HIV virus is getting detected. Okay, now in this table, in this chart, you can see they have mentioned the type of the test and the days which is required for that condition for that result. Okay, antibody test will require 23 to 90 days. Then antibody and P24 antigen test will require 18 to 45 days, and the PCR will require 10 to 33 days. Okay. Yes, so this was the laboratory. This is the laboratory diagnosis for the HIV infection, which is the most important method, ELISA test. ELISA test, in that sandwich type of the ELISA. Okay, and along with the ELISA, the Western blotting, then the nucleic acid testing, and the PCR, polymerase chain reaction, can also be used for determining this HIV infection in a person or in a host. Okay, now we will see the profile axis of this HIV infection. Now, what is the profile axis? Okay, so the profile axis means the disease prevention. What measures we can take to prevent the particular disease, that will come under the profile axis of the disease or the infection. Okay, and the PEP, okay, the profile axis, that is the post exposure profile axis, which means after the exposure of this disease of the virus in the person body, and after that what prevention, what measures we take, that will come under the PEP, that is the post exposure profile axis. Okay, now what is the HIV PEP? Okay, the PEP involved the taking anti-HIV drugs, right? If a person is tested for the HIV infection, then what will we will prescribe? We will prescribe the anti-HIV drugs, okay, as soon as possible after having been exposed. Now, to be effective, the PEP must begin within the 72 hours of the exposure. Then a person will have maximum possibility for curing. Okay, now to be effective, the PEP must begin within the 72 hours after the exposure, before the virus that has the time rapidly replicate in your body. Okay, that's why the PEP must be after 72 hours, okay, as soon as the possible, so that we can stop the replication of the virus in our body. Okay, because after that the virus will start replicating in a very faster speed, very rapidly. Okay, then the PEP consists of 2 to 3 anti-HIV medications, anti-HIV drugs, that needs to be taken every day for 1 month. Okay, now the PEP involves the taking HIV drugs, anti-HIV drugs, as soon as possible. Okay, the medications may have side effect, right? The PEP, again, the medications, the anti-HIV drugs are not 100% effective. It does not guarantee that the person will completely recover from this infection or not, but it helps to prevent the further infection. Okay, the PEP always help to prevent the further infection after exposure. Okay, and that's why PEP must be start as soon as possible after the exposure of the disease of the virus. Okay, now the HIV medications. Okay, HIV medications or the chemotherapy, what are the chemical agents that can be used for this drug, for the chemotherapy, for the drug, right? Drugs that can be taken, so that include 2 drug regimens, 3 drug regimens. In the 2 drug, AZT and the 3TC, these drugs are used, right? Zidovudine 300 mg and the lamivudine 150 mg. Okay, these are the 2 drug regimens. Again, the second example, emtricitabine plus tenofovir. These are also the two drugs that can be combined together for the two drug regimens for the anti-HIV drug. Okay. Now in the second picture you can see three drug regimens that is associated with the Combivir or the Truvada OD drug, that is associated with the Lopinavir and the Ritonavir, or Atazanavir plus the Ritonavir drug. Okay, which is associated with the Combivir or Combivir, right? That means Combivir plus Atazanavir plus the Ritonavir. Okay, these are the three drug regimens for the HIV. Right, now you can see in that picture, this is in the first picture there is the two drug regimens. Okay, and in the second picture you can see the three drug regimens. Okay, in the first picture there are the two drugs. Okay, the white color one is the one drug only. All right, so that is the Combivir and the Kaletra drug. That is the true drug regimens. The doses of this each drug can be different, but the regimens, the number of the drugs are the two. So the two drug regimens for the Combivir and the Kaletra, and the three drug regimens, these are the Truvada plus the Riadza and the Norvir. Okay, these are the three different drugs, hence called as the three drug regimens. In the first one there are two drugs only, that's why calling as the two drug regimens and the three drug regimens. Okay, now yes, so in the prophylaxis, the post exposure prophylaxis we can conclude as the use of the anti-HIV drug as soon as possible after the exposure. PEP can reduce the rate of infection in the healthcare worker exposed to HIV by 79%, which is the very efficient percentage, right? So as I mentioned, PEP does not guarantee for complete curing, but it can help to prevent the further infection. All right, and therefore the PEP can reduce the rate of infection in the healthcare workers exposed to the HIV by 79%. The benefits of PEP for the non-occupational exposure have not been proven yet, and this use of PEP is controversial because, as we discussed earlier, PEP also has some side effects, and due to this side effect, the most of the patients are not able to complete that prophylaxis or that medications. So that is again a topic of controversy, that the PEP should be taken or not. Okay, in this online lecture we saw the laboratory diagnosis. In the laboratory diagnosis we saw the ELISA, that is the main method, right? We have focused on the ELISA sandwich method. Then along with ELISA, the PCR, NAT and the Western blotting can be also used to determine the HIV infection. Okay, after the HIV infection laboratory diagnosis, we saw the prophylaxis and the post-exposure prophylaxis, that is the PEP. Prophylaxis is what? That is the measures taken for the disease prevention or the disease curing, that will come under the prophylaxis. Okay, then we saw the medications, the two drug regime and the three drug regime. We have discussed certain examples of the drugs which are important. Okay, like which antibiotics or which drugs, anti-HIV drugs, are available for the HIV infection. So the answer can be Combivir plus Kaletra drugs, that is the two drug regimens can be taken, or the Truvada plus the Riadza plus the Norvir, that is the 3 drug regime that can be taken, okay, for the HIV infection. These drugs, anti-HIV drugs, are available for the medications. Okay, I hope you understood this online lecture. If you have any doubt regarding this, please ask in the comment section. Thank you for watching.